So we've got a great episode for you all today. I need to look at my notes. Hold on. Essentially, this episode is all just a bunch of conflicts that resolve by the end of it. Thank you to everyone who commented all their questions on last week's video. If you haven't watched it, you should. I reacted to the jlEMO national duet. I'm thinking I'm gonna do my When the War is Over solo next. The next time I react to a next step dance that I was in from past seasons, it's probably gonna be that one. Third thing on the list, CHATEAU LAURIER. That show, remember that show I was telling you guys about all those weeks ago? It's still there. If you're interested in checking it out, please do. I did it couple years ago now, and it was so much fun. I learned a lot, and I got to work with some really talented people. It's a fascinating show. It's a lot of drama. The acting is incredible. The writing is really, really, really good. There's a lot of, it's like very Downton Abbey, you know, Murdoch mysteries, if you know what those shows are. That's the vibe of this show. And if that's your jam, check it out. I'll link it below. Previously on the next step, because of the whole dancelled situation, Richelle's like, we're gonna do a show, as we all know, the Step Inside show. And she was expected all of A-Troop to be involved in that, including Kenzie, but Kenzie's heart isn't in it. Her heart is in Nationals still. She wants to go to Nationals. Not only does she want to go to Nationals, but she also wants to be the dance captain of Nationals. And Nick, of course, says yes to that because Kenzie's great. She's a veteran. But then, of course, this creates a very complicated dynamic between her and Richelle because Richelle and her are best friends, and Richelle feels betrayed by that fact. She essentially says that if she cared about me or the team, she would never do this. So that's what happened last episode. We start off this episode in Studio A. Richelle walks in, Kenzie's there, and Kenzie tries to reach out an olive branch, so to speak.
Ever since I became dance captain of the new A-Troop, Richelle's been icy towards me. I just want to make sure we're okay and there's no drama between us.
There's always drama.
If you need anything from the new A-Troop or me, then don't hesitate to ask.
And Richelle shuts her down.
It's okay, we'll be fine. You made your choice. We made a pact that we were gonna stick together and go professional and not go to nationals this year. And now look what's happened.
Okay, so I have thoughts about that. Anything that says we either do it together or you're out. I don't want to even see you. That's cold, man. Then Richelle sees a new video posted by Tiara Bling, and it's not good.
Kenzie has decided to ditch the team, and honestly, good for you, girl. Jump off the sinking ship while you still can.
Oh yeah, who is the mole? Who is the mole? I still think it's Summer. It's definitely not Summer. They wrote her off early. The first episode she was cut. So to bring her back would probably be weird. I mean, they could do it. I'm just trying to think of like who on this team would like want that. You know? Maybe it's someone in like the old B Troop, new A Troop. Maybe it's Izzy. I'm just trying to think of like the last person I would think of. Izzy would be that. Why is it so bright? Like, if you look at this and you look at this, it's just different. I'm gonna change this. I'm sorry. Hold on. That's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. Sorry for all the technical issues. I had to film with this camera earlier today. It doesn't matter. And then Tiara Bling wraps up her video with a lovely little sign-off saying that she believes that this whole show is
Guaranteed to be one of the biggest failures ever.
Wow. She kind of sucks. You want to know what I want to know? I want to know what Tiara Bling's motives are. Why is she making these videos? Why is she pushing down the next step so much? I guess it's just because she gets the views, perhaps. But I'd like to know more about that.
Who told her?
I don't know.
Oh, what if Kenzie had stayed on this troop, tried to make it work, while also being the dance captain at the same time, and then it like falls apart? Like both fall apart, or she has to choose one or the other. Like Nationals is happening at the same time that they're filming this dance show, so she has to choose which one she's going to go to, and she chooses Nationals because that's the one she actually wants to do, and then ends up bailing on the team. Like, that's a big betrayal. Richelle's acting like that happened, not that her friend just decided she wanted to go and do something else. And like, it's not that big of a deal. They didn't set anything yet. There's no like finalized dance routines. Like, it just feels like Richelle's blowing it out of proportion for no reason other than that she wants everyone to do exactly what she says. And so like, that's, again, I've said this last episode, that's like her inner journey.
Stand up.
back in Studio A, but at a different time. And Kenzie's like, okay, it's her first day as dance captain, you know, and it's her time to captain these dancers.
Kenzie is the new dance captain, and I am living for it. Now we get to bask in the excellence of a true veteran.
Would every single person in A Troop who auditioned to be a part of A Troop be okay with one of the veterans coming to be dance captain? Like, I understand the thought behind that of like, oh, that's good. Like, it'll put us in the right direction. She's competed before, I think, right? Kenzie's competed at like regional. She must have. I'm assuming that there would be someone else on the team that would want to be dance captain and would probably be a bit peeved at that. So I'm hoping maybe I'm making the assumption, or I'm making the prediction that that's gonna happen. So she gives them this assignment, this like dance assignment.
All these dancers have exciting and diverse styles, which means they need to learn how to work together. And what's a better way to do that than some good old-fashioned team building?
These 3 dancers are tasked with putting together this trio routine thing that I originally thought was going to be for nationals.
Is there anything specific you want to see? Because you know what is just around the corner.
Just around the corner. That was a fun little play on words, an opportunity to not say right around the corner, but basically say right around the corner. Speaking of right around the corner, Brennan and I have a new podcast coming out called Right Around the Corner. And we talk about everything about the next step, specifically the first seasons that we were on it, our time on the next step, how we booked the job, what it did to us at that time in our lives. You will be able to see it on Brennan and my shared YouTube channel called Knuckles on 4. Because that's our production company, our shared production company. But yeah, we'll be posting all of those podcast episodes there. If you love all things The Next Step, then, excuse me, go check it out. Dear God. I'm drinking bubbly. That's why I burped. This is not an ad.
I want to see style, I want to see individuality, and I want to see you shine. More importantly, have some fun. Okay? You got this. I'll see you soon.
Maybe a mega fan who's watching this can answer this question for me. At what point did the dance captain duties become just delegating all the tasks and not actually choreographing anything themselves? There was this big rivalry between Emily and Michelle in season 1, where like Emily was a dance captain, but she was like a very domineering, like controlling dance captain, where it had to be her choreography. It was very technical and jazz focused, and she didn't incorporate anyone else's ideas. And we were very bummed about that as a troupe in general, but we didn't want to say anything because we were all kind of afraid of Emily. She was sort of freaky. But then Michelle comes in, and she's this new girl, and she's this Miss National soloist. She's a big deal, as they say. And we think she would make a great dance captain, and she doesn't want to make waves, but anyways, eventually she becomes dance captain. And the biggest difference between the two of them was that Michelle would like listen to the dancers' ideas and incorporate them in the choreography. But the point I'm trying to make here is that in both of those instances, the dance captain choreographed the routines. Now it's just become the dance captain being like, okay, dancers, choreograph. I'll be back in an hour. I'll be at the bubble tea shop, having my bubble tea. Maybe spiked with a little bit of vodka, but don't tell anybody. See ya in a few hours. Like, that's what the dance captain does now. I wish that the dance captain actually like taught their dances. Then we're in the change room where Heath and Kingston are like chatting it up in the dressing room.
You get up to anything fun last night?
No, why?
Nothing, just making conversation.
Kingston is sort of like a bit uncomfortable because there's a secret that he has and he doesn't want to share with anybody.
Are you committed to this team?
Oh no. Now Richelle knows I'm hiding something too? I must have the worst poker face.
What's he hiding? Yeah, and then Heath is like, okay.
We'll put a duet together for the show that oozes togetherness, okay? That'll show Tiara.
Also, I was watching back this scene and I really like Heath. I think I said this last season. I like Heath as a character. There's something about him.
Everyone's gonna be really upset.
Upset?
When we blow them away with our killer duet? Come on, your acro's tight, my acro's tight. You're comfortable dancing any style, so am I. Together, we'd be unbeatable.
Grr. Wow! Yeah, let's do it, let's do it.
What was that? Grr. Bow! Oh God, that reminds me of that really weird thing the guys used to do. It was like a mating call. It was like, skoo! That's what it was. And I hated it. I don't know why. It just bothered me. I was like, just Just say hey. Hey, what's up? How are you? Don't call it would be like the loudest screech, like across a room full of people. No one else wants to hear your mating call. You want to say hey to your friend, go up and say hello. Don't be a Sorry. Oh God. That just brought back some memories. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked with that whole mating call thing. What I was trying to get at was that, I think what's his face is the mole then, because he's like, I'm hiding something. Kingston. That guy. Excuse me.
I think Heath's idea for duet is great. It'll really show Richelle that I'm a team player, and it'll keep my mind off of my secret.
You know, it would be a fun moment if they're like, well, what's your secret? And he goes, he's gonna tell them, and then he goes, I can't, I'm sorry. I can't. And he like holds it in. Like, that would be kind of funny, I think. Then we're in the rehearsals with Ethan, not Eric, Ethan, and he's taking over the rehearsals.
Any other time that would be really, really, really fun. But if we're trying to win nationals, we need to stick to my routine.
We've been at this for an hour, and Ethan has said no to every single one of our ideas.
So that's what he ends up doing, which sounds like something Emily would do, but also I feel like Riley would do that at some point. Or at least maybe Brittany would.
I just assumed you've been at least, once, considering how much you think you know.
Well, I've been a part of this studio for longer than you have, so I know more than you do. Daisy and Ebby surprisingly have a little bit of an attitude. As someone with a little bit of an attitude myself, I should appreciate it, but I don't.
This is what I was talking about earlier. This like clashing of ideas is happening where they're like, no, I want this and I want to do this. And this is where the dance captain, theoretically speaking, would come in and be like, okay, you know what? We're not going to do either of your ideas. This is what we're going to do. Or I think this would work better because of XYZ. And then you don't have to like it, but like that's just, I'm the dance captain. And that's why you have a person in charge. I still think it's weird that it's not like a teacher and a dance captain, but if you have to have a dance captain, at least have them teach your dancer. Like, the competitive dance world that I was raised in, this is just so not that. And there's a reason why they don't do that. There's a reason why they don't say, hey, fellow dancer, you're going to be the dance captain. They don't do that because it creates a really weird separation. Like sometimes they may be like, okay, this person who is the best dancer in the room in this routine is going to stand at the front of the room and watch and take and give notes. Maybe they might do that. That's valid because that person clearly has a stronger understanding of the routine than everyone else does. Fine. You can learn from them. Fine. But like, anyways.
I don't love being so bossy, but this is the only way that I can prove to Kenzie that I can help lead the team to nationals.
So of course this is going to be like that valuable lesson that he learns. And then Kingston gets another duet request because he's just super popular for whatever reason. He's in the bubble tea shop place and Finn comes in and is like,
you know what would be so much fun is if we did a duet together. You're such a good choreographer and I'm one of the best at doing what I'm told. We go together like bread and butter. Like this duo, should just happen. It's gonna happen, right?
Sure.
Okay, so maybe his real secret is that he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do nationals. Like he has something else that he's doing. I've got other things, but I can do 2 dances. Like he has a something else. There's clearly like a something else that's pulling him from this. And he's committing to 2 different dances for what reason? Like why couldn't he just say no to his friend?
I gotta commit to my team. I mean teams.
Then we're in Studio B with Amy and Piper, and they're doing some rehearsals or they're practicing some Russian fouettes, as we call them.
But I do think I'm ready for a break. Do you want to get some bubble tea?
Yes, please. Oh, and then we can watch the finale of Finishing First?
Yes. Okay, good. I have been avoiding spoilers all day.
They both are planning on like watching the show together, but Amy's seen it already, and she feels really terrible about it.
I could never tell Piper this, but I already watched it.
That's all. I really didn't have any thoughts on that. And then we got a funky dance numba. This song sounds familiar. What is it from? It's from an earlier season, obviously. And Kenzie, of course, smells the fact that it's Ethan's choreography, and she's like...
And I'm getting the sense that this dance has his name written all over it.
I think what's gonna happen is that is that Kenzie's gonna be like, oh, you didn't incorporate everyone's ideas and it just showcases you. It should be a team thing. And he's like, what? And he's gonna learn a valuable lesson. And then during the final pose, cute. That pose is like, it's the dude who is like also kind of technically trained. So like Isaac would always do that kind of a pose, but just like a strong a strong-fisted, like fist beside your hips, and your legs are what? Okay, I can't go on.
So, what did you think?
It's a good start.
Thanks, I did basically all the choreo myself. They executed my vision perfectly.
You guys are gonna need to start over.
This was like a practice. Why are you not preparing for nationals? Why are you not preparing? Does anyone else remember season 1? We were doing the same routine and we were working on it and finessing it, and there was like little issues happening within the choreographing and like working around the spacing and understanding like who would be in the front row and who's gonna duet partner with who. There's so many nuances that happen in a rehearsal of one routine that they just don't do. I understand why they do it this way, because they are trying to showcase unique ways that these kids can learn lessons while also raising the stakes so that when it comes time for nationals, they're like, nationals is literally right around the corner now. Like we said it was right around the corner like a month ago, but now it's right around the corner like it's next week right around the corner. And we have nothing prepared. Like that's what they want. They want like the stakes to be high like that. But then it's like, well, of course, like, anyways, I just don't understand why they don't prepare the routine.
The point is, I want you guys to work on this together.
It's just my competitive dancer brain is losing it. I'm like, you're not gonna be prepared. You're not gonna win. You're just not. And maybe they don't win. Maybe that's why, because they spend too much time doing all these side dances.
As a team.
Great, because I really wanted to do some partner work.
See? I would love to see something like that. So, take the time, re-choreograph it, and I'll come back and watch again.
And so yeah, Ethan feels real bad. And then we're in some sort of random hallway of this building, which has some very funky backdrop stuff.
Kingston, just the man I was looking for. You, me, this duet, we're going to absolutely...
Not another duet. Say no, Kingston. Say no.
Let's work on it after lunch.
You bet. I have to say yes to Ozzy. I can't have him asking too many questions. He loves sniffing out sus behavior.
Okay, but if sus behavior, he loves sniffing out sus behavior. Oh, the lingo, how it changes. Did I just turn into my mother? Okay, if Izzy, right, they're related. Okay, Ozzy. If Ozzy is good at sniffing out sus behavior, as you say, then wouldn't you think that he would probably be like in rehearsals with you? You would want to spend as little time with him as possible. So why don't you just say, I already have 2 duets. I don't want to commit to too much. Like, that's a valid reason to say no.
Gotta keep everyone from finding out, and I gotta prove to Richelle that I am a team player.
Okay, but of course Kingston's approach is that, oh, if I just say yes to everyone, then no one will question anything. And then we're back in the bubble tea spot with Amy and Piper, and they're sort of having their little conversation about the show and their like thoughts about who they like more or whatever, something like that.
I'd have to go the route of Wilhelm and Eloise. Yeah, like, I'd love to cruise around the world. Wait, Wilhelm and Eloise.
And of course then Amy finally, it slips that she in fact did watch the episode without Piper.
Did you watch the show without me?
I did watch it. I watched it.
Piper reveals in her talking ahead.
I cheated and watched our favorite show last night too.
But then she's about to tell Amy, and then it just like gets away from her.
It's all me. I was so selfish of me. I know. I just said I got into this huge fight with my mom and...
Huge fight with your mom? What about?
It doesn't matter.
What happened with her mom? That's the juicy stuff. You just glazed over the best freaking part of that whole thing. And so then I got kind of frustrated about the whole mom business because they just sort of glazed over it. But after watching it a second time, I realized why they did that. Okay, perhaps that's what they're setting up. I'm hoping that's what they're setting up. They're gonna bring it up later. They have to. Then the boys are in Studio B. and they're getting ready to do their duets, and they're all like sizing each other up. They're like, my duet partner's amazing. My duet partner's also amazing. Little do they know it's the same duet partner. It's Kingston, and he walks in, and it's really awkward, and everyone's like, what?
How about whoever's partner comes in first gets to keep the space?
Fair enough. Fair.
Kingston!
My partner has arrived.
Oh no.
That was weird. That's the first time they've ever done that, where they've like split the screen, and they leave us on a cliffhanger at that moment. Wow, we move to Ethan is in the dressing room, and he's really upset, and then Kenzie comes in and tries to console him and like tells him like, look, we all get hiccups sometimes. We all struggle and like hit bumps in the road, but you got to keep going. You know, you can't give up because of this. You have to like, you gotta wear it, you gotta apologize, and you gotta move forward. So then that's exactly what Ethan does. You know, he goes in and he apologizes.
I just wanted to say I'm really sorry. I was really obsessed with getting my way, and I didn't listen to any of your ideas. I'm sorry.
And again, a really valuable lesson. And then this adorable talking head from, is it Ebby? It's Ebby.
Ethan was a bit much today. We all have to work together, and it might as well be today.
Ebby is so sweet, it's sickening. It's a good thing, I suppose. I don't always trust it, though. And yay, the team is working together. The trio works together again. Nice. And then we're back with the boys. The boys who are trying to figure out who Kingston is really dancing with, and they're all real confused and a bit butthurt. Kingston, you triple booked us? But then Kingston decides he's got a plan.
Let's show the world that we're really bros.
Oh, and then Heath says this in his talking head.
Sometimes I feel like a major outsider on this team, but hearing Kingston say we're all like brothers really makes me feel like I belong.
Oh, Heath. I love Heath.
I know Richelle wanted to see duets, but I have an idea.
Let me guess, they're gonna do a group dance. They're gonna do a little small group. And then I hope Richelle, she's gonna love it, but I feel like it would be more interesting if she's like, no, I don't want this. You have to choose which two of you are gonna do it, okay? And then it's like, but we're brothers, you know? We're back with Piper and Amy at the bubble tea spot.
And again, I'm really sorry that I watched it without you. Okay, really, the bubble teas aren't apology enough.
Okay, Piper, at this point is when you say, I actually already watched it. Before she buys you the bubble teas. But of course it's gonna be an issue, and they're gonna talk about it, and they're gonna make out. Excuse me. And then Finn enters.
Pipes, are you rewatching the finale?
What are you talking about?
Remember the part where Jack falls into the Seine? I laughed so hard I choked on my popcorn.
Do we like Finn and Piper together? Do we like this dynamic? And then we finally hear what the frickin' deal was with Amy's mom.
I'll remember that fight I was telling you about that I got into with my mom. She wants me to audition for the Manhattan Institute for Drama and Dance.
Oh, it's totally that storyline that I talked about last time. Each person is gonna realize that their dreams are kind of outside of this team now. And so they don't want to let go of the team, but now they have to to be themselves. Like, they have to put themselves first now. And it's difficult to let go of that, so they're slowly, like, this is their way of holding on to the team and holding on to the next step, but they're like, no, it's time to move on.
That could be a huge opportunity. I've already decided that I'm not going to audition.
This is like my prediction, is that Amy does want to go. Piper sees this and doesn't want to say goodbye to her friend.
That seems like an amazing opportunity for Amy, but I think she's making the right call.
It's kind of obvious that if the team wasn't doing this show, then Amy would probably do this Manhattan Institution dance thing, drama thing.
I felt awful keeping this from you. I didn't want you to think that I was abandoning the team.
So there's this clear, unsettled, like, she wants to go, and Amy and Piper doesn't want to let her go. And then we see the completed trio from Ethan, Ebby, and Daisy that incorporates all of their ideas. And it's super fun and funky, and Kenzie loves it, and everyone is happy.
I'm proud of Ethan. This is a bounce back performance.
So yeah, Kenzie's a success, everyone's a success, everyone's super thrilled. I'm coming home. I love that song. That was one of my favorite. I'm coming home, I'm coming home. I'm pretty sure that was the last song on the tour, the dance tours that we used to do. If anyone who's been, let me know in the comments. And I think it was the last song, or like finale song. It was like, and we did a lot of like hip-hoppy kind of moves. Speaking of good songs, we got a funky new jam from from Shad. Shad is his name. He's like playing the guitar, talking about bullying, I think is what he says.
I'm moving up in the real world, and there's one thing that I just can't stand. It's a bully.
I found Shad and asked him to help us create a dance that shows our bond as bros.
And then we got the dudes doing their little quartet dance, and they're showing Richelle.
We stand up and we stand proud. You got something to say, then get up and make my day.
And in that dance, there's this backflip thing that Heath does with Ozzy. That backflip thing, that reminds me of, it was the girl group dance we did on tour. And we had to flip, I think it was Jordan and Victoria who did a flip, or Briar maybe. And I think I was flipping Briar. And so I was the one who like had to like actually flip her. And it made me so nervous because like I'm not an acro dancer, like flipper at all. And I was like, I'm her base, so I hope she's... Anyway, let's just flashback to that. Wow. Then Richelle's reaction to the dance is this.
It was so good. Beyond all my expectations, I have to put it in the show.
But I really want to see the drama, you know?
This day turned out awesome.
I am over the moon. I'm so happy that Richelle liked our dance. And that my secret...
Oh yeah, what's his secret? Maybe he's the mole, right? Maybe he's the mole? But why would he be the mole? Like, the motives make no sense for any of these people to be the mole. But then we find out that it's not actually that he's the mole because Ozzy gets a notification on his phone and he sees that
Tiara Bling just posted another video.
And it looks like Kenzie's exit has inspired more dancers to jump ship.
And it reveals what his secret was the entire time, is that he auditioned for this movie. So Tiara Bling's like, nobody wants to be in the next step anymore because it's shit. It's terrible. When will Richelle just give it up? And then, of course, the dudes are like, what the hell, man?
You auditioned for something behind the team's back?
Well, there you go. The mole, not Kingston. And Kingston auditioned for this big movie thing. My theory stands that there is some kind of, you know, that each person's going to find their own path separate from the team, and they're going to try and take that path, and they're all going to learn that they need to just move on, and Richelle's going to be the last person standing, and then she's going to realize, yeah, it's time to move on. Also, I had a new idea that perhaps no one is the mole because it doesn't make sense that anyone there is the mole, and that it's just like Tiara Bling came to visit the studio at one point and like planted things or something. Maybe. I think that's what it is. Maybe they're gonna look at security footage and see that she came to the studio at one point. I think that's maybe what it is. That's my theory, my working theory so far.
We need to get this mole situation taken care of, or else this team is in big trouble.
Anyways, that's that. Now we're gonna do the question. Question is from Grace2714. Question, exclamation point, exclamation point. Do you remember being on the show Lost and Found, the music show that was tied to The Next Step? I'm curious to hear whether or not you remember being on it, and if you do, what your experience was like filming your scenes. Yes, I do remember being on it. I feel like we did season 4, and while we were filming season 4, they were auditioning people for the Lost and Found stuff. And once they had their cast in place, they randomly threw in storylines last minute where James was in the band, and they had that band group thing. That was Riley's connection to it because James was in the band, so Riley was like the girlfriend coming to see the band and whatever. And so my scenes in Lost and Found were like, I had like maybe 2 or 3 scenes in that show. I was very much like a guest star there. And I remember it was really fun because the cast members on that show were really great. Not as intense as the Riley and James and Alfie situation going on. It was an interesting concept. I actually really liked that they did that because it then became about like the building itself having all of these like interesting things going on. Like there was a music school and then there was a dance school in one big building, so they could then interact with one another and then cross promote the other shows, and that was the whole point of it. I remember they were gonna shoot a second season, or they had shot the first season and it was split into 2, and then they never ended up getting renewed, and that was always a disappointment because I thought it was a fun show. Anyways, it was a lot of fun though. I do remember it. I wanted to keep the question kind of short for this one because I can never shut up in these videos and it takes me so long to edit, and then the video ends up being 30 minutes long and I'm trying to keep it condensed. It doesn't matter. All this to say, thank you so much for your questions. Please ask more questions down below. I will answer them in a future video as well. Please remember to check out Knuckles on 4 Productions and Chateau Laurier, both of which are linked down below. And I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye now. So I feel like I need to do, just let you know that my books didn't mysteriously just disappear from my bookshelf. I had to take them down because this bookshelf is not very sturdy, and the books that I put heavy books on top of it, and so now it's like toppling over. So I had to take them all off. That's why they're not there. So don't be alarmed.